Poetic beats. Poetic beats.
This is First GenXers.
Poetic beats. Poetic beats.
All right. So what's up, y'all? What's up? What's up? And as I can see in our backstage area, we have the one and only O'Malley with us. What's up, Mamacita?
What's up?
All right. So the three is in full effect. Welcome tonight to tonight's edition of the Classroom featuring, as you can see, Dirk Suave, O'Malley, and the one and only Dark Lord 100. This is the second show on Broadcast Sundays, and we are going to get right to it. Again, just like we do with we have our sports quiz question of the day. I'll let you guys marinate on it for our viewers and for y'all. Here you go. Oh, there she went. Who was the first European-born player to win the MVP award? A. Dirk Nowitzki, B. Pau Gasol, C. Tony Parker, or D. Arvydas Sabonis? Save your answers till the end of the segment. We'll talk a little bit more about that later. All right. So, latest NBA signings. And this was the most interesting one out of this week for me. Because we had a little bit of this last week, Swab. You weren't here to talk about this. But me and O'Malley talked a little bit about Dame going back to Portland. And in that same vein, we see Chris Paul head back to the Clippers. I pretty much knew when they traded for De'Aaron Fox that Chris Paul probably wasn't in the Spurs long-term plans beyond last year. Although the idea of him and Wemby is a nice combination, the old veteran guard, the young big man, that's interesting. I just see that De'Aaron Fox is probably a better fit with what they have going on over there. But Chris Paul heading back to the Clippers, I don't know. He says that I forget who it was. It was either the coach or one of the I think it was Ty Lue said about the Clippers that we have a veteran team. It's to counter the Oklahoma City Thunder and their young team. So, O'Malley, you seem to have some interesting thoughts. So go ahead, let us know how you feeling about the Clippers putting together this veteran team with the help of Chris Paul.
Okay, veteran or elderly? I mean, if
I
we're
think the words
talking
are
about Chris
interchangeable in
Paul,
this case.
I think if we're talking about Chris Paul, right? I'm not talking about Kawhi. I'm not talking about some of the other guys, but like bringing Chris Paul back, like that. Okay, veteran or elderly? I'm just gonna leave it at that. I mean, that feels a lot like, okay, we're gonna sign you for 24 hours so that you can come back and retire with the team that you most identify with,
Yes,
right?
yes.
Like, but that's not what this is. So, um, why didn't they just bring him back as a coach?
Maybe he'll be a player coach. Swab, your thoughts?
On paper, they have a very good team that could make a run in the playoffs if they remain healthy and make the playoffs. But past name recognition, you really have to worry that this team can play 50 to 60 plus games together and then go through the playoffs, which could be another potential 28 games. So Kawhi Leonard is not known for being able to stay on the court. When he is, he's still one of the premier defender and offensive players in the league. James Harden showed that he can run an offense. He's not necessarily the same scoring punch, but he did have spots last year where he was able to step up. He's just not a true playoff performer. And I think that putting him with Chris Paul again, it's going to be very interesting to see how they play come playoff time. Because if you remember, when they actually had a chance to beat the KD-less Warriors, they came up short, even though CP3 was on the bench hurt. He could not get them to stop shooting bad shots and
Yeah.
literally shot themselves out of that series and allowed the Warriors to win. So on paper, it looks good. I mean, this seems like a 2K team, the NBA Live team. But when reality sets in, CP3, he's been fairly durable later on in his career. He's definitely outside of his prime, but coming in, I'm very curious to see how this all comes together.
Well, let's start here. I don't think he's going to be asked to play too many minutes. He's joining a game. What?
Then
Why?
why? What I mean, honestly, then why? Like, did they
Uh,
get him a bargain basement deal on
well,
him?
actually, yeah,
Like,
1 year, 3.9 million.
oh, okay, then I'll give it to him on that because like I get this is the veterans to Oklahoma's youth,
Youth.
but that doesn't make a lot of sense to me
Yeah.
because the veterans that they have are getting up there in age and I heard a if they can do this, if Kawhi can stay healthy, if there's like some really big ifs there. Like,
Yeah.
if I won the lottery, I'd be a gajillionaire. Like,
It's true.
it just
No.
doesn't make a lot of sense to me other than this is his home. We're bringing him back. Maybe we got him for a good deal. This is like his last season in the NBA, and this is what he's going to go out on. Okay, maybe, but like, was it necessary? Is this the direction that they should be heading in? I've said the same thing about the Lakers in
Yeah.
the shit that they're doing. Like, bro, this is where you should be getting younger players. This is where you should be getting the next generation. This is where you should be building the next team, putting the next pieces into play. You've got enough veterans. You've
Yeah.
got enough leadership,
You should
right?
be
Like,
bringing in the
okay,
young
so bring him
cats.
in as an assistant coach, bring him in as a water boy, bring him in as a towel boy. I don't know. But if you're gonna bring him in and I mean 3.9 million for 1 year is still a lot of money.
Yeah.
That's not a base contract kind of money. That's
Yeah.
we're paying you this money because we have emotional ties to
Yeah.
you.
Well,
So what is the expectation here?
let me be real. I see his role similar to Sean Livingston in the early Warriors days. Sean was never going to be our starting point, but he was good enough to come in and spell, which is I think what Chris Paul's role is going to be, is to come in and spell James Harden
Yeah,
and keep James Harden fresh for the postseason. I'm not saying I don't think it's a bad idea.
but there's a
I'm just saying,
difference. There's a difference between Sean Livingston with the Warriors and Chris Paul with the Clippers,
yeah,
minus the emotional factor. Sean Livingston still had some youth to him versus Chris Paul in his elderly big age that he
hey,
is.
he contributed 8 and 8 to the Sun or to the Spurs last year, and yeah, they didn't do. But that's because Wemby went out midway through the season, and
And oh,
yeah,
and where did the Spurs end up last season?
yeah. But
It
again, I think that had more to do with Wemby being out than it had
Okay,
to do. I
again,
think they're a
it had
playoff
nothing to
team if
do with Chris
Wemby's there.
Paul. Either direction, either side of it had nothing to do with Chris Paul.
Fair
I
enough.
mean,
Fair enough.
honestly, when you boil it down, he's not going to be a starter. He's not going to be the old Chris Paul. But when Kawhi and uh, Harden aren't playing, he can actually get the second unit
Collie.
reserves. You know, he can actually run their offense and get some production out of them. And I think that's the biggest bonus to a guy like CP3. He's still a crafty veteran. He can run an offense, tell guys where they need to be so that way they can be effective. Hopefully, get them a couple of easy baskets. Because that's the real question for the Clippers. Who are they when those two guys don't play? So I think CP3 is going to come in. He can be a positive influence on that team. I do agree they should have gotten younger, but they're all chips in on Kawhi and Harden and CP3.
I'm gonna
I
say this.
mean, well, maybe he's gonna get a sponsorship for a walker or some durable freaking medical equipment. I
Here,
mean, you know,
here's my thing. This team right now, what it shows me is that Steve Ballmer is willing to spend money on this team. Money that I won't mention his name, but that dude who owned them before him was not willing to do. Is it going to
oh,
end
you
up
mean
with
the
them winning
racist
a
piece of shit?
championship? Yeah. Well, I'll say that, but is it going to win him a championship? I doubt it. Like almost all of these guys, like I get it. None of y'all have championships, but Kawhi. But yeah, no.
I
This ain't the
just
way to
don't
do it.
feel like it goes hand in hand with the new stadium. Like I
Yeah.
just don't like new stadium and grandpa. Like and I have no ill feelings about him. Like
Yeah.
I don't think nothing bad about the dude. It's the same way that I feel with the Lakers. I feel like you're not doing the team justice right now.
I
It's
know, yeah.
going in the wrong direction than what you should be going at. Maybe if they picked him up for 1.9 million for the year or 1.2 million for the year, whatever the fuck the base salary is right now. But 3.9 for 1 year still feels emotional.
Emotional. I feel you. I feel you. All right. So speaking of emotional, Chris Paul's new teammate Bradley Beal has decided to give up his number 3 jersey to his new veteran Clippers teammate Chris Paul. Not that anybody gave a damn, but
Well, I
I
mean,
don't
we couldn't
know.
have a CP13. Like that just wouldn't,
Why
you
not?
know.
Why not? We got an
Was it
MJ
but
45.
here's
Why can't
okay,
they get a CJ
but was
CP
it
13?
really his choice? Like seriously, who paid him?
Yeah.
Was it really his choice? Did he do this out of the kindness of his heart? Or did other people be like, bruh, do the right thing. Fucking do it. People are gonna be pissed off at you. Fucking people are gonna blame you if we lose because Chris Paul didn't have his number 3 and they couldn't call him CP3
Uh,
anymore. Like,
oh,
seriously.
I'm
Like,
betting he
was it
paid for it.
really a
yeah.
choice
I'm
or
betting he
was
paid
it
for it.
like
That's normally the way it
yeah,
goes down.
yeah,
Yeah, exactly.
exactly. He got
Yeah,
paid.
I mean,
yep.
but let's
Let's
be
put it
honest.
out there. He got paid
Bradley Beal
and
been robbing
guilted.
teams the last like 5 6 years. So I mean, he
Good
probably
point.
didn't even shouldn't even been paid to give up the numbers since he ain't
Fucking
really played
Derrick Rose
basketball since
2.0.
Washington.
Like, I mean, fuck.
Oh,
But
oh man.
Bradley, who? Like, I can think of other few people with the last name is Beal that were better than Bradley.
Oh no shit. No shit. All right.
One of whom I
So,
had the pleasure of watching in college basketball.
oh yeah. We'll say all right. So, according to NBC Bay Area, the Warriors' Jonathan Kuminga has reportedly been open-minded to the idea of joining the Sacramento Kings.
Why does he think he has a choice?
Technically, he does have a little bit of leverage.
Yeah. Well, he's not saying that's where he's not saying this is my preferred destination. The Warriors and Kings have been having talks about the trade, about trading for Kuminga, and the Warriors just haven't really liked a lot of what the Kings have been offering back. Like
Bro,
I read another
is
article where
it
they were talking
weekend
about,
at Bernie's in the Warriors front office right now? Because it's been dead as fuck.
well,
Like,
and it's like,
what
well,
are they doing?
well, here's the thing about it. Here's the thing that I just read an article the other day where they were talking about what's holding up the Kuminga trade to anywhere. The Warriors want specific things. They want a young player back in return. They want a first round draft pick, and they're not budging off of this. Like, and I forgot what the other thing was too. But like they have three things that they want, and they're not budging off of it. And this is what's causing this wall to come up when it comes to trading Kuminga. And maybe they're doing that in the hopes that it'll force him into re-signing, and then they get another year to try to get him to stay. But I think that we may end up stuck with this until the February trade deadline. I don't know if anybody's going to be willing to give up a first for him.
But you explained the Jonathan Kuminga issue. You haven't explained the rest of why they have been like radio silence on anything this offseason.
I agree with Suave. I think that we were talking about it when we were talking about the Al Horford and DeAnthony Melton. And I actually read this also in an article as well. I agree with Suave. I think they have handshake deals with Horford and Melton in place, and they're just waiting for this Kuminga situation to move. Because there's no reason why Al Horford should still be sitting out there. He may be old, but he contributed to Boston winning a championship.
That's two players. Two players.
That would solve two of our biggest problems.
Two players, though, but like for almost nothing. I'm not going to say nothing because they were involved in the fucking 15-team trade that sent whoever wherever.
Kevin Durant to the Houston
whatever. Yeah, fuck Kevin Durant. Who cares? But honestly, like as far as the Warriors go, normally in the off season, and even if they have a handshake under the table, freaking backroom, closed door, closeted deal with Horford, okay, and they're waiting on Kuminga, that still doesn't say a whole lot. Like, even if Kuminga gets traded, even if we get Horford, I'm like, I still don't necessarily feel like there's been a whole lot. How would we feel about our offseason if that's what we walk away with? Depending on what is gotten for Kuminga. Let's
say that they finally give in to the Kings and they end up getting, what's that point guard of theirs? Can't think of that kid's name. It'll come to me. But if they get him from the Kings and then they bring in DeAnthony Melton and whatchamacallit with Pods, Moody, Trace Jackson Davis, Quentin Post, like with them, and then you got Jimmy, Green, and Steph. I think as long as everybody stays healthy, that's a top 6 team.
As long as it's not Sabonis, I'm okay with it because we're gonna have Green fucking hitting more players on the Kings.
No, I don't think Sabonis is in line.
No, I think that I know he's not in the mix. I know he's not in anyone's mix. That's
Keegan Murray.
Okay.
Keegan Murray is the name of the young cat that they want from Sacramento.
Isn't Sacramento his second team?
No, I want to say Sacramento drafted him.
Did they?
Yeah, okay. I want to say they drafted him.
After De'Aaron Fox?
Yeah.
Was he the one? Okay. All right.
Yeah.
All right. Okay. So, I mean, but yeah, I mean, then they've pretty much demolished the team that they had that it looked like, because it was Fox and Murray. What was their two that their team is fitting to look a whole lot different. I still don't really know how I feel about that.
Yeah. Zach LaVine and DeMar DeRozan now are leading that squad, basically.
I mean, that almost looks like freaking Portland 2.0 back in whatever day, or freaking Toronto, or whoever you want to look at. I don't really care what the Kings do because I hate their fans. So they can fuck shit up all they want, and their fans can go fucking cry more and talk about, oh, the Warriors fans are bandwagon fans. Really? Because I've seen what your arena looks like when you guys aren't winning. And I've seen what your arena looks like when you are winning. I've also seen what Chase Center looks like when the Valkyries are fucking playing. So fuck all of you. Because Chase Center is packed no matter what's going on. Whether it's the Valkyries or if it's freaking the Warriors at a losing record, it's going to be packed. But plus I just hate the Kings and I hate their fans. And so... maybe not as much as the Lakers and their fans, but
hey, I'm glad you segued into that, because our next topic is about Marcus Smart, who got a buyout from the Wizards after being traded there by the Celtics and is now signing with the Los Angeles Lakers in another case of how much fucking help does LeBron need.
In the
Um,
case of how much does my last name actually match my intelligence?
let's say, Suave, give us your thoughts on Marcus Smart going to play with LeBron and Luca and the boys.
It's a smart move for the Lakers. It's a piece they needed. I'm not sure he'll
Pun,
probably
pun
be the
intended.
second unit, but it's a good move. They keep getting a lot of cast offs, guys that have gotten bought out. They got Aiden, now they got Smart. So it's a good move on paper. I still don't know how this team really comes together. Marcus Smart isn't really known as a shooter, kind of a lightweight 3-and-D, more on the D side wing. So interesting pickup, but should be helpful. I'm not sure how this team's really going to fully come together yet.
How about this? Somebody that's not Luca out there on a key defensive position.
Yeah. I mean, he's going to have to double time it with Luca out there because Luca ain't going to get no damn
Luca
effort.
and key defensive position are never in the same sentence except for that right there.
Well, I'm just saying, like, you sub him
that.
in during key defensive possessions instead of Luca. So you
Isn't
kind of
a
make
key
that
defensive position in basketball?
no key defensive possession. Possession is what I'm.
The only thing Luca's defending is the line at the beer.
Fucking the buffet. That's yeah.
Yeah. Like, but that's the only way. It's
I don't
like
understand this. They may have gotten Marcus Smart, but the decisions that they'd be making is still dumb as fuck. So
this is the Miami Heat all over again, except with an owner that will let LeBron do what he wants to do. That's what it is. Bottom line.
No, not the owner, because the owners won't. But their fucking governor is still up his ass right now. Apparently, for the next 5 years, still. But you have 1 or 2 more seasons. She's not making it 5. I promise that. She will not make it 5. She'll be lucky to make it the rest of this next season. Fucking get rid of her because she's one of the reasons why they're in the position that they're in right now. Period.
We'll say, all right. So we'll close that one out there and we'll give the answer to the sports quiz, which was, who was the first European-born player to win NBA MVP award? A, Dirk Nowitzki, B, Paul Gasol, C, Tony Parker, or D, Arvydas Sabonis? Any guess?
I mean, seeming out 3 of them don't even have MVPs. I mean, this is kind of an easy one. I was rather shocked by the names put on there. I mean,
the Sabonis one is one that got me. But for those of you who don't know and should know, it was Dirk Nowitzki.
How was that even a question? Like, I mean, it was
Tony
a question,
Parker,
but that was like
Wait a minute, doesn't Tony Parker have an MVP or no?
We're giving you a gimme on the multiple choice test. So this is the equivalent of, can you write your name on the English and math portion of your SATs?
Word.
Well,
clearly some people can't. I found that out, but
it reminds me of that old adage in all those 90s sitcoms when it came to the SATs, when somebody got a like 400 on the SATs and they like, dude, you get 300 just for spelling your name right.
Yeah,
like
I know, because I went to school with somebody who was given a full ride scholarship to USC from De La Salle and couldn't get a 720 on the fucking SATs.
Damn. Ouch.
So I don't know who that says more about, this person in particular or De La Salle as the school.
We know what they're all about. We definitely know what they're all about. Yep.
Yeah, because he was at the school at the very beginning of the streak. So, because I was at the school at the very beginning of the streak. So, yeah.
They are, I've had plenty of conversations about why they were.
And to clarify, I wasn't actually at De La Salle because we know it's a boys' school. I was at Crondelet, the girls' school, just before anybody's like, hey, you couldn't have actually gone to that school. Actually, if you took a certain language test, you absolutely, or class, you could. And then junior and senior year, girls and boys could swap schools unless certain language classes were only offered at one or the other,
Okay.
So
All right. So on that note, we're going to go on ahead and take our first and only break. We'll be back in about 5 minutes, and we'll get to talking some weird NFL stories.
so
Right here
what,
on the
Aaron
class.
Rodgers? Is that where we're going with that?
Stop ruining my setups.
Oh.
Stop ruining my setups.
My bad.
Y'all be good. Oh, man. Okay. Hold on.
This is now versus then. This is now versus then.
Get on your mark, let's go. This is now versus then. Burning up your radio, still turning up the heat. With Poetic on the flow, got you moving to the beats with the same as your host. Shout out. Damn, these beats gon' pound. Waking the game up, told you it goes down. Start the party.
This is now versus then. This is now versus then. This is now versus then. This is now versus then.
Got to keep it. You got to keep it lovely. You got to keep it. You got to keep it lovely. Success comes right after the struggle. I ain't even giving up on whatever I wanted. The tragedies I've seen, I can't even stomach. Most of y'all weak as shit and would've started running. Every time I make it back to the crib, I'm thankful the Most High let me see all of it. Grateful I'm lovely, and I've been real with this. Please don't judge me, I'ma stay on my shit. I'ma keep a grind mode button, push it, make it do something. No balls for me, cause I'm a loose cannon. I get to choose, camera, switch it up, look up a new banner. Keep smoking on that banner.
They say that beauty is in the eye of the beholder. But the definition of beauty is distorted. Yeah. Come on. Searching for yourself, so insecure about the way you look, so you go to Miami. You can't find the love within yourself.
unmute, unmute, unmute. There we go. Hey, y'all, welcome back. Let's give us that there, and we can get back to business. So, since the last one was so easy, hopefully this one will be a little bit more challenging. Sports quiz question of the day. Who was the first WNBA player to win both MVP and Rookie of the Year in the same season? A. Lisa Leslie, B. Candace Parker, C. Deanna Taurasi, or D. Maya Moore? All believable candidates because all four came storming into the league. But as Heather, ruined my setup, she was correct.
Not even intentionally. Your setup ruined your setup.
All right, so Steelers Steelers quarterback Aaron Rodgers offers retort to Terry Bradshaw's criticism, saying he doesn't know me. Terry has always got something to say about somebody. God bless that man.
Because Terry Bradshaw was a Steeler. Freaking Aaron Rodgers is a mercenary. Let's just be clear on that. He's not a Steeler. At this point, I don't think he was even a Green Bay Packer the way he's freaking ruining his fucking shenanigans. Because we also all know that he ended up in Pittsburgh by default. He was very clear on the fact he wanted to go to Minnesota. And gee, folks, I wonder why that was. Brett Favre much? Hate Green Bay much? Want to stick it to him much? Fucking bro, just retire.
Suave, any thoughts?
I mean, said it perfectly. It's crazy how you had two definitely different quarterbacks both try to run the same way to get back at the place they left. But, Terry Bradshaw's always been open-minded about, what he's got to say, and he has no qualms about not holding back. So, Rodgers, it's to be expected. He's definitely a mercenary. He's trying to go out there and, pull a Tom Brady, go into the good situation, and hopefully pull off a ring. He's the best quarterback that they've had since Ben Roethlisberger, to be honest, even at this stage of his career. So
that's not saying a whole lot.
I mean, Ben the person wasn't a good person, but Ben the player was a pretty good quarterback.
Yeah.
No, I know, but I'm just saying.
No, she's saying like that doesn't say much about the players that replaced.
I mean, other than I'm gonna go out on a limb here and say that I don't feel like Justin Fields got his fair shot there because they did bring in Russell, whatever Russ, who is he now? Where is he now?
Russell Wilson.
Giants. But I don't feel like Justin Fields got a fair shot there. I also don't feel like Justin Fields in Chicago was also a fair shot. Because granted, it still wasn't a perfect situation, but Caleb Williams showed that it was more that there were more holes than just the quarterback could fill. So I feel like taking Justin Fields out of that equation, but they haven't had someone since Ben Roethlisberger. And I don't think that Aaron Rodgers is the answer to that because honestly, all you're doing is kicking the can down the road. Like this is a stopgap. This is maybe it will put some asses in seats. Maybe it'll do some ratings. But I mean, I don't feel like he showed at the Jets even after he came back after the Achilles. Like I don't know why Pittsburgh was fucking tanked their draft prospects to fucking wait to see what he decided. I think that's ridiculous. I think the basket that they chose to put their eggs in is ridiculous at best. And Tomlin, this is clear that you're a defensive head coach because this is a dumbass fucking decision that I feel like is also going to be the end of his career. So, it is what it is.
We know the Rooneys don't fire nobody, so You know, it's just, like I hate to say it, but at least we know Tomlin. As long as he takes them to 9-7 or 9-8,
I
and they
mean, the
make the
old Rooney's
playoffs,
didn't find anybody, fire anybody, but like we got a new crop in there, so
yeah.
maybe they need to fire somebody or force a retirement or something. Fucking
I
because it's not working.
yeah.
Like it's. I feel like what's going on in Pittsburgh feels a bit of what was going on in Dallas for a while, or
Well, still is.
to an extent of what's still
Yeah.
going on in Dallas, just not as the coach is concerned.
Yeah.
This is almost kind of like Tomlin in Pittsburgh is a little bit like Steve Kerr in Golden State. Like we're stuck in our coaching ways, and if we don't evolve, it doesn't bode well for the team. And we all know I love me some Coach Kerr, and
Yeah.
I adore the man, and he deserves all the respect in the world. But just like basketball is evolving, so is football. And I don't feel like Tomlin has really evolved with the game.
Only stop point I would or talking point I would take back on, or not take back, but I would say back on that is the man hasn't missed the playoffs almost his entire career. Like, yeah, he's not winning championships every year, but it's like it's one of those type of things where I say it
How do
like
you
this.
feel
Here-
about your team consistently going to the playoffs and even the Super Bowl, but not actually winning? Because
it
at
doesn't
some
bother me.
point, that's not enough.
It doesn't
It's
bother me because I would much rather have a shot. I'll put it to you like this. There are at least 28 other teams in the NFL that would have dreamed for the run the 49ers have been on. I mean, dreamed and begged to the gods for the run that 49ers have had over the
but
past 5 years. And
but
I would say
we're
and I would say something similar to with Mike Tomlin. There are teams in the league that would pray to have what Mike Tomlin has been consistently year in and year out. And I always ask this question when we talk about getting rid of good coaches. Who the hell are we going to get that's going to replace them and do
you're
any
not
better?
there, you're not wrong. You're not
You
wrong
know?
on that. And on the other part, yes, if the team you're talking about isn't the 49ers, if the
Yeah.
team that you're talking about isn't Pittsburgh, if the
Right.
team you're talking about maybe is the Browns, if the team you're talking about maybe hasn't actually won multiple Super Bowls, if the team that you're
Okay.
talking about doesn't have an expectation of greatness, right? Like if the team you're talking about isn't in a quest for six, if the
Yeah.
team you're talking about like is just happy to
Yeah.
make the playoffs,
Well,
because
I
if
don't
the
think they're
team you're
just happy.
talking about is nowadays Dallas, okay, like
Well,
because at
okay.
some point it isn't enough. At some
Well,
point you're always the bridesmaid, never the bride.
let me say this. If Kyle Shanahan had the run in San Francisco that what's his name? He's in not Kansas City, not Andy Reid. Where is that boy at now? That the guy that they just had in Dallas that they just recently replaced. I can't think of his name. He's former
Oh,
49ers coach.
uh,
Um
from Green
can't
Bay.
Yeah, from Green Bay. Was the guy that started out with Aaron Rodgers. But and the guys that come before him, where you guys aren't even making it to a conference championship game. If Kyle Shanahan had 5 consecutive years of not even making it out of the second round, I'd be calling for his head. Like, yeah, we're making the playoffs, but we got to do better than this. But multiple trips of going to the playoffs and at times being a bad luck play away from winning a championship. Yes, there are multiple. Yes, there are multiple championships. There are multiple Super Bowls that they played in.
Atlanta and New England
Well,
is not
those
bad luck.
again, I can't. I'm not an
Winning at
Atlanta fan.
halftime and losing the Super Bowl is
It's
not.
happened to him before. But again,
That's the
just
point.
me and
That's the
me. Hold on.
point.
Me and Suave have spoken about this 49ers Super Bowl on multiple occasions. Both times, there's 2 Super Bowls that he has there that I don't put it on him. This Super Bowl, he did what an offensive coordinator, what an offensive minded coach is supposed to do. He walked his offense off the field with the lead. It was on the defense to bring that home.
And
And
I
kind of the
don't
same thing in the first
disagree.
time.
I don't disagree, and that argument may have won in Atlanta because he was the offensive coordinator and not the head coach. But when you are the head coach, I'm sorry.
I believe
When
that the
you are the
blame
head
falls on
coach,
you, but I believe that there's context to it too. I
there.
get what you're saying, but
I'm not
yeah,
saying you're not wrong, but it's the same thing in the regular world.
yeah,
Like when your subordinates fuck up, at the end
yeah,
of the day,
yeah,
that's still on you.
yeah, 100%.
And so that argument to me, like that was, we would
But
have
if
been
I'm an
having the
owner,
same. It,
but if I'm an owner, I'm not firing him. That's the whole thing about it. If I'm an owner, I'm not firing him. Looking at that record and
it,
basically the only 2 seasons that he have that have been crap seasons are the 2 seasons when the team was riddled with injuries, which I
it,
can't lay at the head coach's
but
feet. So other than
here's
that, he either makes it to the conference championship or the Super Bowl. And
yeah.
yeah, he's lost them, but
But as
again, name
far
me a
as
coach that's going to do
but
better.
as far as the 49ers leadership goes or ownership goes,
Yeah,
okay? And we know how fickle, and not you because you're a
yeah, yeah,
real fan.
yeah.
We know how fickle
As fans,
49ers fans can be. We've
yeah,
seen it. One day a player is God, the next day they're the devil. They're a bunch of fucking borderline bipolar fucking
yeah,
idiots. Okay?
yeah,
But as far as 49er ownership goes, and even how fickle they can be,
yeah.
if his last name wasn't Shanahan,
Oh yeah.
is he still the coach right now?
I can probably believe, well, based on the years that happened before he got there, I might be inclined to say yes. Because people got to remember where this 49er team came from before Shanahan and Lynch got there. They had just come off like a 2-and-something season, or they had a 2-and-something season. It was right after the Harbaugh years, and everything just went into the tank.
Yeah,
After
but
Harbaugh left, you Kelly,
he's
you
not
had Jim
getting
Tomsula.
hired as a head coach after that Atlanta Super Bowl if his last name wasn't Shanahan.
I agree with that, but I would say, if I remember correctly, he signed that contract, or not signed it, but he agreed to be the head coach before that Super Bowl. Like they had talked to him well before.
Well, sort
So
of.
it was
You
my
might not want to say that out too loud
yeah, yeah, but
because
yeah,
that could be a whole other level of hurt for that team.
yeah.
But
But
there
just
may
to
have been a
say,
wink, wink,
yeah.
shake, shake
Well, they
under the
had an interview
table.
with him. They had an interview with him before the Super Bowl. He signed after the Super Bowl. So I'm pretty sure they walked away from that meeting, from that interview, like, okay, yeah, you're our guy. We just
But
can't say
after
anything.
that Super Bowl,
Yeah.
had his last name not been Shanahan,
Fair enough.
would he have gotten a head coach position? I'm not saying he wouldn't have been somebody else's weird ass offensive coordinator somewhere, but yeah, I
I
just,
think that maybe not. Well, I don't know, because the 49ers at the time in which he came in were a bottom 5 team. They weren't a playoff team. So I think of the bottom 5, 10 teams. Yeah, I think there's at least one that would give an offensive coordinator to just led an offense to the Super Bowl and a 28-3 lead. They would give him a job. Like
but we're not talking about any other team. We're talking about the weird ass 49er ownership and how they are
yeah,
about certain things.
they were a
So
bottom
I
5
do,
team at the thing. They were
yes,
desperate to bring in somebody, and
but
the name
for
just
his
happened to be
last
Shanahan.
name being Shanahan, I don't think he would have gotten the look that he did, especially after that Super Bowl.
I can see where you're coming from. I just think because of the fact that the interview happened before, yeah, the Shanahan got him in the door, but it was the fact that he was in the Super Bowl that got him the job. Like, win or lose the Super Bowl, because you just said it 5 times. He was the offensive coordinator. What is he supposed to do about the defense allowing Tom Brady to romp all over them in the second half? Yeah, he could have controlled the clock.
Except for the fact that his offense didn't really do shit after the second half.
He's trying to kill clock,
but had their defense done something, it wouldn't have mattered what the offense did or didn't do. But their offense did lose steam after the first half.
And I will say this. I will say this as final note on it, is that Tom Brady actually, for me, took over the GOAT conversation with that Super Bowl. Yeah, Sorry,
Oh
like
God.
it was there for
Oh.
me. Watch it.
See, this is the one where this is like I'm even gonna say, like, I will forever have a 49er great in that number. I don't give a fuck if Tom Brady came back right now at his big old age and won more, because the game was different. And
Yeah,
I'm sorry, but I still believe that had he been playing in somebody else's system, his career would have been very different. But for Charles Woodson and the fucking tuck rule, his career would have been very different. Just saying.
hey, hey. All right.
Just
So
saying.
we'll move forward and we'll talk a little bit about Joe Mixon, who's expected to miss the
Why?
preseason because I guess he hurt his foot.
Again?
Yeah, I guess so.
But did he punch
Like,
anyone this time?
no. I don't believe punches were thrown.
Okay.
I believe it was sometime during practice he got his foot stepped on, and yeah,
Was his toe? Because he's had toe problems for a
probably.
while,
You know, they described
which isn't uncommon at his position.
yeah, very much so. Especially running backs who cut hard like he
And I
does.
hate to say that because he's a hometown Cocoa County kid, and I feel like I really should be supporting him.
Yeah.
But
Eh.
mm.
Suave, any thoughts on Joe Mixon missing some time? What this might mean for the Texans?
They've shown a propensity to be able to get past injuries. I like Joe Mixon, the player. I think he was given a tough shake in Cincinnati. I always thought he should have been the guy in Cincinnati, but they kept bringing in people and kind of dropping him in the depth chart, platooning him, and never let him really kind of be the guy outside of maybe a year. He does have an injury history. He should be able to come back and help them out. He's definitely a weapon, a home run hitting type back. So hopefully he's able to get healthy because I do like what they're doing over there with CJ Stroud and that offense. And I like the coach they got over there doing his thing.
Toe pick.
And
What's up, Texans?
I love CJ Stroud is you know my common bond of a child of an incarcerated parent who his father is at Folsom State Prison, and the things that he has done for other kids with incarcerated parents, and you know, the criminal justice realm and sentencing reform and all of that. And one thing that I've been very clear all along, and I've always stood on, is that with these players, it is more than just football. To me, it's not just what they do on the field. It is also what they do off of the field and how they use their platform. And this is a kid who has gone out there. Also another San Bernardino kid, just like Jaden Daniels, right? Like they're very similar if you look at it. But I have mad respect for CJ Stroud and what he has done in Houston, especially after it is interesting that he ended up in Houston after their coach's comment about the inmates running the asylum and all of that. That's a very interesting place.
Interesting
But
place.
I would like to have CJ Stroud have the people in place that he deserves, because to see where he also has taken that team and what he has done, he's only going into his third year, folks. Do we remember that? Like, just like Jaden
Young kid.
Daniels is only in his second year, although he's almost 26 years old. But eh, yeah, I would like to see him have the tools and to see him be able to have a team around him to do the things that he could be capable of. So,
The spectacular thing he's
yeah,
capable of.
and I don't agree. I don't disagree with Swab on that. I think that he is a good player. I don't think that he was utilized the way that he should have been at Cincinnati, and it almost feels in some ways like they s- they stunted his career.
Yeah.
In a lot of ways, and to the point of sometimes you question of like, yes, I'm cynical, that is this intentional? Like, why pick up a player of his caliber to then just go ahead and treat him the way that you did? Like, it
Yeah.
doesn't make any sense to me.
Kind of
And
like
I
what they're
do
doing with Trey Hendrickson.
clearly
over there.
I do believe that people deserve second chances. So hopefully he heals. Hopefully it's not his right foot. I don't know what foot it was. But hopefully it doesn't impact him, and he's able to have a successful career and give CJ Stroud all the tools that he deserves, because boy, that kid like fucking got tossed around like a rag doll.
Yeah, he did. Get him some protection. All right, so the next subject, we're coming back to those dang 49ers. Read an article on NBC News talking about how Robert Saleh is not feeling pressure to live up to the lofty 49ers defensive coordinator's expectations. I believe it's because the man's been there before. The last time that they made a Super Bowl and were a serious threat, he was running that defense. And although he doesn't have all the pieces that he had back then, Armstead, Buckner, he's got some good pieces this year. He still has Fred Warner manning the middle of that defense. I think Renardo Green's gonna surprise a lot of people at corner. Malik Mustafa is another name to watch out for at the safety position. And I think it's really going to depend on what Brock Purdy and the offense do. That's going to determine how far this team goes. Suave, any thoughts on Salah saying he's not? I ain't scared.
I mean, he shouldn't feel any pressure. I mean, they can only go up from where they were last year. It's really on the offense to handle their part. The defense is pretty easy because he's got players at every level. So that do feel that the defense lost some key pieces, but they've got the biggest pieces still. So I think they'll be all right on defense, health permitting.
Yeah. O'Malley, any thoughts?
Okay, I believe that there is a difference between confidence and being cocky. Okay, and I get it to an extent. Um, but I also feel like you should not be too comfortable, sir, especially coming off of what you just did. And while, yes, the Niners of the 90s were a very offensively minded team,
Yeah. Oh,
the Niners of the last decade or two have been more of a defensive minded team. So, yes, and I'm not going to say there is nowhere but up to go, because no, he can still go lower, and like the second we're like, oh, it can't get any worse, hold my beer and watch this. So like, I get he's been here before, I get all of that, but I want somebody who is just a little bit worried. I want somebody who feels like they need to go out there and have someone or something to prove, right? I'm going to show why I wasn't the problem at where I just came from, right? I'm going to go out here and show why, after all is said and done, I'm up there with Mike Tomlin. I'm up there with the defensive minded head coaches. I need to go out there and show I'm going to bring the Niner defense back to the glory that it was a few years ago, right? A couple years ago. Not last year for sure, because, yeah, there isn't much worse that you can do. But the second that you say that, it's like, okay, I bet, right? So it's great. I want my defensive coordinator. He's not mine, by the way, just to clarify that, even though I might be sounding like I'm talking like he's mine. I don't really fucking care. He could be the Raiders fucking defensive coordinator for all I care, and I wouldn't give two halves a fucking shit. But if he was my defensive coordinator, I would want him with a chip on his shoulder just a little bit, because I don't want him comfortable. I don't want him thinking I've got this in the bag because I know what I'm doing. Because yes, just because I know what I'm doing doesn't necessarily mean that comes to fruition on the field. So yes, like, I've been here before, and I want to be better than what I was before. I want to show everyone why they gave me this chance again.
Okay, well, first,
I'm
hold
not
on.
even a Niner fucking fan, and I'm over here going like,
well, hold on.
More, dude.
First of all, shout out to Creed's Classy Bling with the raid, bringing 19 viewers with them. We appreciate you for joining us here tonight. I agree in the sense of if I think this man, although not verbally hungry, I believe this man is hungry. And I don't think it's about proving that he's a good coach, even though in at the what went on with the Jets, because I don't think too many people expected him to make the Jets a Super Bowl contender. Like, yeah, make them better than they were, but I don't think many people
I
expected
think that
much.
was more of a personality conflict
Yeah,
than anything.
yeah.
I,
And
I
so well, I say, but I agree that he should that I don't think that he necessarily wants to prove himself about that. I think he wants to show that him and Shanahan should have won a Super Bowl the first time that they went. And I think that's what drives him. And I think he's comfortable in that because, and this is why I've always said Robert Saleh and Kyle Shanahan should have never parted because they make a good combination. Shanahan doesn't have to worry about the defense. He doesn't have to
Especially
think
when
about
you're
it.
an offensive minded head coach, you need a strong defensive coordinator,
Right.
period.
Right. And so he has a guy who has the position of O coordinator, but he doesn't really do he doesn't he's like the game plan coordinator. Like he's not really the O coordinator. Shanahan is the one on the sidelines calling the calls on Sundays. And so not having to worry about the defense allows him to game plan, should allow him to game plan a little bit better on the offense. And I think Robert Saleh, their chemistry allows Robert Saleh to be calm and say, okay, look, I as a defensive coordinator ain't got to worry about on the offense. Kyle's going to take care of all of that. Whether or not they're going to do their job or not, that's up to the players on the field. But Kyle's going to take care of that as far as game planning, all that. All I got to worry about is my defense and my defensive staff. And I think there's something about being able to do that when you can isolate the two portions of the team that can kind of make both portions of the team better. And I think that Shanahan having to worry about defense during the last couple of years with Steve Wilks and Nick Sorensen at the defensive coordinator took away from his game planning on the offensive side. Now, do I say that any of this is an excuse for a 6-11 season last year? Nah, it is what it is. I think that Saleh has a right to feel comfortable, but I do agree. But I think Saleh's one of those naturally hungry people, which I mean, like, you're not going to hear him talk a lot of shit because he's one of those quiet dudes that's just going to go get the job done. And I think that's what we're seeing when he's saying he's not feeling the pressure. Suave, do you have any thoughts on Saleh and his feelings on this upcoming year?
I mean, Jets defense was never really a problem. It was really their offense and lack of a decent quarterback. So him coming back home to just run the defense, and like you say, Shanahan's going to have, his run on the offense. Now he doesn't have to worry about the defense per se since Saleh left and D'Amico Ryans left. So as long as the players stay healthy, the defense should be serviceable. He does cook up good schemes on the defensive side, mixes up the blitzes. So I like what he's walking into there, and he should be in line for another head coaching opportunity. Hopefully, this time he's a bit more selective.
For sure.
And I have something to add here. And this
Sure.
isn't just about Salah. This isn't just about this is really to all coordinators, right? Whether offensive coordinator or defensive coordinator. It's okay to recognize you are just, and not just because your position is important, but it's okay to realize that you were never meant to be a head coach, that you are an offensive coordinator, you are a defensive coordinator, but you're not necessarily a head coach. And yes, Lincoln Riley, I am talking directly to you, Mr. Glorified Offensive Coordinator, head coach. Okay, so it's okay to admit that not everybody is made to be a head coach. That doesn't just have to be the natural progression of things. Just like because you've dated someone for 15 years doesn't mean that the natural progression of things has to be the next step is marriage. Okay? Some people are meant to be an offensive coordinator. Some people are meant to be a defensive coordinator. Not everybody was meant to be a head coach. Lincoln
Valid point.
Riley, I hope you get tarmac just like Lane Kiffin this coming season.
There you go. Strong opinions. and we love them. That's why she's here. I'll say, all right, y'all. Last subject of the night before we close out. Commanders Bobby Wagner takes on ownership stake in WNBA Storm. He wants to be on the right side of change. O'Malley, you look like you got some thoughts
I
about
love
this.
this. I
Go on ahead.
absolutely love this. I love this, one, because my husband is a Commanders fan. Two, because we also just had this conversation about what we talked about on here last week about pay the women.
Yes.
And I do believe this is the right side of change. He wants to be on that. And I love this.
Yeah.
I absolutely love it. I hope that more players from across different sports get on this bandwagon. I love, not bandwagon, but get on this, because I mean, we talked about it, what, 2 billion in TV rights?
Oh,
Like,
I looked that up. That doesn't kick in till next season. So
well,
so
but
so the teams haven't so the girls are right to say we earn that money because without us, you don't sign that $2 billion
absolutely.
TV deal. We
Absolutely.
deserve to
But
make more
for
money.
Kate and Clark, but for fucking Angel Reese, but for Paige Becker, but for Maya Moore, who came before, but for Lisa Leslie that came before, but for all of them. Like, let's make it so that these women can have longevity in their careers as well, because they only have to play here instead of having to play year round. And recognizing that, look at the Valkyries. Look at Chase Center when the Valkyries are playing. You would think that the Warriors are playing the way that they pack that arena. So I do believe that this man is getting on the right side of change, the right side of history. And so I love this. This
For
is
sure.
absolutely amazing. And I love the fact that they're not barred from doing this,
Yeah. As
because
players. Yeah.
if the different sports and teams wanted to be assholes about it, they could make something like this difficult for a player on one team to have ownership
And
in
an
another
ownership
team.
stake.
But
Yeah.
shit, we've seen it with Patrick Mahomes in fucking soccer.
Yep.
So
Yep.
I'd rather invest in women's basketball than women's soccer. And nothing against women's soccer, but
Yeah.
you know,
Suave,
it's
your
not
thoughts?
basketball.
Very true.
Women's basketball's on an upswing. They got the perfect combination of young players that are interesting, entertaining, and good players. Most notably, they have an incredible rivalry between Reese and Clayton Clark. I think that rivalry reminds me of Bird and Magic, and it also reminds me of how the NBA was before Bird and Magic got there. So I think that the entire league is on an upswing. $2 billion TV deal that's incoming should increase team and individual salaries going forward. I
Mm-hmm.
believe that as they continue to get more women into the game that can attract eyes. I believe it is a smart investment for every player, coach, or anybody with money to get in now. We see where owning teams and having an ownership stake. I mean, if you really look at the MLS and what they did with Beckham, you know, he put it into his contract that he'd be able to buy a team for $20 million. Well, my Inter Miami is now worth $650 million. So if you get in now on the WNBA, just like the Warriors just did with the Valkyries, you're looking potentially at teams that you paid in for that are costing you 10 or 20 million to run per season, and 5-10 years from now they could be worth 3 4 5 600 million dollars, and at some point in the future worth $1 billion. So I think it's a
I
smart investment. WNBA is coming up. It's really entertaining right now. They're all over Sports Center every episode now, so the
I
time
I
is now.
I just
I
have
want to
one thought real quick, O'Malley, before you go. I've always said this and will continue to say this as long as the WNBA is around. If the leagues, the two leagues are now in conjunction, WNBA and the NBA. There should be a WNBA team in every NBA stadium.
Mhm.
All 30 of them. There should be a WNBA team in every stadium because that makes sense. And I think that you expand the league, and I think that you could grow that league really, really quickly if you do so. Go ahead, Heather.
So I'm gonna go and I'm gonna take this a step farther here, and it may seem low key political what I'm about to talk about,
Mm,
but at a time where it feels like being a woman, being a female is under attack in this country,
mm,
and where our rights are being taken, where we are being silenced, I feel like this is bigger than basketball. You're showing girls, right? The ones who are coming up playing CYA, playing AAU, playing high school, college, that you're important too,
yep.
right? Like that you as a player, you as a female. And I'm not trying to say all the fucking other weird gender shit that people are attacking also,
Yeah.
because that's a whole other thing and that's wrong as well. But right now in this country where we've seen our rights being taken away from us,
Yeah.
to have people invest in us, to have people invest in women, to have football players invest
Invest.
in women, and to
Yeah.
show the next generations that the work that they're putting in isn't for nothing, that
Isn't for
their
nothing.
work that they're putting in is being seen, and
Yeah.
that just because you are a girl doesn't mean that you are not important, doesn't mean that you're not a phenomenal basketball player, doesn't mean that people won't fucking pay to watch
Watch
you
you play.
play,
Yep.
period. So I think this is a perfect time for this to be happening, when we are clearly under attack in this
Yeah.
country, to show that we are being supported in some way, shape, or form, I think is absolutely huge. And we know that the NBA has been really big for social justice, for civil rights, for amplifying. It's been one of the professional sports that encourages their players to take a stand. That I
100%.
feel like this is important, and this is a good time for this to be happening for a multitude of reasons, not just because of basketball.
Not just, yeah. 100. Well, very well said. Very well said. All right, so we'll close that out there. Now we will go, speaking of the WNBA, back to our sports quiz question. And before we close out tonight, who was the first WNBA player to win both the MVP and Rookie of the Year in the same season? Was it A, Lisa Leslie, B, Candace Parker, C, Deanna Taurasi, or D, Maya Moore? All amazing icons in their own right. Any guess on the answer, guys?
I believe it's Maya Moore.
That was who I was gonna go with. I mean, I probably have I'm biased towards Maya Moore. I love Maya Moore. Also because she is very big in the criminal justice realm, and her husband was formerly incarcerated. And so I have mad respect for that woman. And my husband yesterday was just saying, I hope they pay the women and she comes back and plays. So I'm just gonna say Maya Moore, because I adore Maya Moore, but I also think that that was what the answer
Yeah.
was on top of everything else.
Well, I'm going to say this.
We're wrong.
Unfortunately, guys,
We're wrong.
despite her
Tarasi?
being
Was it
all that,
Tarasi?
it was
It's got
actually
to be Lisa
Candace
Candace
Leslie
Parker.
then, right?
Parker.
It was
Candace
actually
Parker?
Candace Parker.
Wow.
The Candace
Okay.
Parker.
I'm okay being wrong.
Yeah.
I'm
Yeah.
There wasn't a wrong answer on that one, really, because
no.
I look at unlike the previous answer, I look at those four and they belong in the same category
Yeah,
together.
like any single one of those, like it would not have been out of the
Uh,
realm of possibility for it
Yeah.
to be the answer. Like
very
the
much
first one felt like the softball gimme of like, I mean, if you get this wrong, like you're kicked off the show, your sports card is pulled, like just do not
so.
pass go, do not collect $200, go straight to fucking Bible camp. I don't know.
Well, Tech Tinkers took it upon himself to create a different answer and said Heather O'Malley. So Oh man. So there you go. She's amazing. She's amazing. She's done a lot of amazing things, and she even won MVP and Rookie of the Year in the NBA in the same season. She's been our co-host for over 10 years, and we didn't even know, Suave.
There we go.
All right. There we go. All right, y'all. So I do want to say thank you to everybody that tapped in, especially for the raid. That was amazing. Tech Tinkers filling up our comment section as usual. B-Win 246, Chalk the Child, Soul Star, all tapping in. We appreciate y'all. We love y'all. And that'll be it for us this week. Be sure to join us next week. Same bad time, same bad channel. And then also for Cheap Pop. And yeah, y'all. Have a great weekend. O'Malley, take us home.
Fuck LeBron.
There you go. There you go. Peace.
And Bronny too.